Okay, on this problem, our goal is to expand, using the properties of logarithms, expand this logarithmic expression. So we have log base 3 of 81 times x squared, all divided by the square root of x minus 1. Our properties of logarithms are written off to the right-hand side. So we have the product, quotient, and power rules. To expand this, we want to move from the left-hand side over to the right-hand side of each one of these rules. So the first thing that I notice on this is that we do have a fraction. To expand this, what we want to do is the numerator gets its own logarithm. It's going to be positive out in front. The denominator gets its own logarithm. It's going to be a subtraction or negative out in front of that logarithm. So let's start there. So we can rewrite this log base 3, numerator minus log base 3 of denominator. All right, there's further expansion that we can do as we go along here. The next thing that I would do is, I notice we have 81 multiplied by x squared. That's a multiplication going on in between those two, so that means it's a product. What we can do is use our product rule and say that each one of these gets their own logarithm. They're both going to be positive. Okay, so it's going to be addition in between. So let's do that next. We can say this is going to be log base 3 of 81 plus log base 3 of x squared minus log base 3 of the square root of x minus 1. All right, the last thing that we would like to do, there are actually a couple more things we want to do. If we have an exponent attached to everything on the inside of the logarithm, we're allowed to move that exponent down in front and make it a multiple at the same level as where the logarithm is. That's the case for this second logarithm as it's written right now. We can also go ahead and rewrite. So I will bring this down at this point, that this 2 is attached to everything on the inside. It can move down in front and become a multiple out in front. We can rewrite that square root. Instead of having the square root of x minus 1, we can actually rewrite that. And let me write this out. 2 multiplied by log base 3 of x squared. Sorry, the square has gone. Rewriting that square root, we can write it as a rational exponent. Raising something to the 1/2 means the same thing as taking the square root of all of that. So it would be inside parentheses at this point, all raised to the 1/2 power, meaning the same thing as that square root. And then out in front, you notice we still have this log base 3 of 81. We can get some nice canceling out if you can rewrite 81 as 3 to a power. That's the inverse function property between exponential functions and logarithmic functions. But I think we can rewrite 81 is what, 9 times 9 and 3 times 3. A quick factor tree off here to the side. Can't factor any of those prime numbers 3 anymore. So if we multiply those all together, that's 4 copies of 3. You can rewrite 81 as 3 to the 4th power. What that's going to allow us to do is when we have log base 3 and then 3 to a power on the inside, you get this really nice canceling out and you're just going to be left with the exponent. Plus 2 multiplied by log base 3 of x. And then finally, remember we said that when you have an exponent attached to everything on the inside, that can move down in front and become a multiple. So minus 1/2 times log base 3 of x minus 1. And that's as expanded out as it can be. That last logarithm doesn't have a product or quotient on the inside. It has a difference, so that won't split up any further. All right, hope this helps. Good luck to you on it.